So, silver hit the mainstream headlines. It was all over the news yesterday that WallStreetBets was going to try and squeeze silver, and it had got up to a pretty good price point. It just peaked over $30 an ounce, but of course now it's coming back down. Might be a little bit early for me to do the I told you so dance, but the mob mentality certainly has taken hold over this last couple of days, and it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. I want to talk today about how you can just take a step back and realize perhaps that things are not quite as everybody thinks they might be. There's a lot to talk about, so let's crack on with another commentary on silver squeezing, game stopping, and the mania that is WallStreetBets. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a warm welcome to you all joining me for day 3 of the crazy train that is silver squeezing, WallStreetBets, game stopping, and all of the others as well. Now, I don't normally do videos back to back, day after day, but at the moment there is just too much to talk about, too much to share with you guys about my feelings on this whole situation. Silver is now in the mainstream. It has become headline news on some of the biggest news outlets in the world, which is a really good thing, but it's also a really bad thing. We have seen premiums spike really high from dealers. There's a lot of shady tactics going on about that. I've talked about that in yesterday's video. I want to talk a little bit today about this kind of mob mentality. The WallStreetBets is essentially a mob mentality, and some are perhaps the origins of this run on silver. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist fan, although I do think that there are bigger forces at play at the moment when it comes to the stuff that we're all interested in, silver. So there's a lot of really interesting things to talk about today, and I also want to finish up the video by giving a message of hope to anybody out there that has actually purchased some silver in this huge run-up. Of course, silver has now started to tick back down. It's a bit too early for me to start doing the I told you so dance here on YouTube. That's my Donald Trump I told you so dance, but we will see when that comes. I don't know if I will, but I am certainly in the minority of people here on YouTube, let alone in the community, that are advocating that silver really isn't going to shoot the moon. I think at best it was going to push $30, $31 an ounce, and it very briefly jumped over 30, but then has come back down again. There's a lot at play. I will never sort of say never. Of course, it could still go parabolic and there could be a squeeze. It could be squozen, as they say over on WallStreetBets, but even WallStreetBets now are going off silver. They are moving away from it. They think it is a conspiracy from Melvin Capital to help with their short positions. Now, I want to talk about that kind of side of things, the conspiracy mob mentality. Now, this whole last 5, 6, 7 years has been this huge run on conspiracy theories, from anything from flat earthing to the election fraud stuff. I don't really want to get into too much of that because I know that's a very hot topic, but there's a lot of conspiracy theory stuff flying out there at the moment, and this just seems to be the next big one to jump on, that Wall Street are just corrupt, baby-eating slaves, and it's just, not really very accurate at all. I don't agree with that. I think that there's definitely market moving manipulation at play with silver. There always has been, and I think what has most likely happened in this world is that there are some ill-informed people over on WallStreetBets that have taken a suggestion and run with it without really doing enough due diligence, and it's just taken hold, it's got some traction, and it's really taken off. And that is my honest, genuine opinion, and that is the most dangerous thing that I see about this kind of movement. Now, if you've done any semblance of research about the GameStop movement, you'll know that at the start of GameStop the movement, there was a select number of individuals who really did some very, very sensible homework on GameStop and realized that actually it was a pretty undervalued company from where it was valued at that time, and they bought into it, and then it gained some traction and it gained a lot of attention from the big players on Wall Street who thought it was then overvalued. It was then heavily shorted. It's a unique situation. It is not like silver. Silver is very much, in this world of interesting kind of finance for sure, and there's definitely things about silver which I would change if I could rule the world, but it's not the same as the GameStop scenario. That is a once-in-a-lifetime confluence of events. And to be honest, the people who started that movement did a really good job of their research, and they've got a very good case, and it could genuinely still go astronomical for GameStop. There are most certainly pointers and evidence to suggest that the short positions that are out there for GameStop are really quite potentially going to go infinitely high. Will they? I don't think they will. I don't think they will at all. I think all of the movement that we've seen in the last 10 days on the markets will have eradicated those liabilities and positions from the Wall Street traders. One of the main reasons that GameStop has been as successful as it has, though, is because of this bandwagon jumping, this mentality, this greed that has come out from people. And a lot of people say it is down to simply people wanting to stick it to the man, which I find incredibly hypocritical, by the way. You want to stick it to Wall Street, who you think is manipulating markets by manipulating markets. That is, completely hypocritical in my opinion, but we'll put that one to one side for now. The point here is that a lot of people say that they want to just stick it to the man, put their stimulus checks towards this and have it go to zero. No, there's like 99% of people who've jumped on the bandwagon in the last 10 days that want to make money. They want to make a lot of money as well. And what I think has been happening in this last week, where GameStop has gone down and down and down, is that people have been cashing out. People have been taking money. And there is absolutely no way in this world that 99% of people out there will look at their Robinhood trading account, and if it says if they got in really early, if they got in at $20 a share and it's now worth 10 times that, there's no way in hell that people are going to ignore that kind of money in a world right now with this economy, with this potential, change in our dynamics with the coronavirus. There's just no way, especially for the very early people who are now paper millionaires, seeing losses every day of millions of potential dollars. I think at some point they're going to cash out, and they're going to, or if they haven't already and are just doctoring photos to say that they are still in. It's not reasonable to expect the vast majority of people to just simply be in it for principle. There are going to be a lot more people in it for money. And I think that is exactly what has happened with silver in this last couple of days. Now, the mob mentality is the thing I think that scares me the most. And I genuinely think that what has happened, whether the seed came from Wall Street about silver to, the WallStreetBets group, or whether it was just simply somebody saying, there are plenty of people on that WallStreetBets group to start with who were already silver stackers and believe that silver is undervalued. Now, whether or not it was a spark from Wall Street or whether it was just a confluence of events, the mob got hold of it, the mob ran with it, and there was this huge run on silver over the weekend. Fueled then by the media, fueled by the bullion dealers' hysteria with closing out of sales of bullion because they felt that they couldn't make as much money as they wanted to, basically, or they couldn't, restock their positions over a closed market weekend. There was a lot at play over this weekend, and the bullion dealers loved it. Let me tell you, not a single bullion dealer out there right now is going, yeah, this is bad for our business. They are loving it. You're looking at some of the big dealers in America right now putting $12, $13, $14, $15 premiums on silver. That is awful. That is daylight robbery, in my opinion, for bullion grade pieces of silver. It is not going to be something that's sustainable. Now, there is hope for people who have jumped in at those levels, and I will finish off in the second part of this video talking a little bit about that. But the mob mentality, we're going to go back to that because that's where it reminds me of a crowd of people with pitchforks running around, just shouting for whatever they want to shout about, and then somebody else points at something and everybody runs over. And with silver, you got distracted by shiny things. That is essentially what I think has happened. I think a lot of, and I don't mean this in a really derogatory way, but I do think that there's a lot of very ill-informed people over on WallStreetBets and just generally this whole new wave of people coming into silver that don't understand what it's about. They don't understand about the SLV markets. They don't understand about the contracts and the physical delivery of things like that. They just don't understand how this market works. Yet they have done a little bit of Google searching and they think they're experts. I'm not an expert. I've been doing this for nearly 5 years and I still don't understand everything. In fact, when I talk with my very good friend from school about all of this stuff, and he in fact got into silver on Friday last week on Bullion Vault, which, by the way, I was not a fan of him doing, but he decided to do it anyway, and then got cold feet and cashed out on Monday, rightly so, because he would have now been pretty much down on his position after trading fees. So, that there is a lot of hysteria. There's a lot of sort of jumping on bandwagons. I can't tell you what's going to happen. Nobody is really knowledgeable about what is going to happen. And the notion that this is all, heavily controlled upon high and cascaded out through dealers is just complete nonsense. There is no way that there is a coordinated, dealer conspiracy to withhold physical silver from the market. Dealers will be restocking. In fact, I've looked this morning around on some of the biggest dealers in the UK. You can still quite happily buy silver from Baird & Co., one of the biggest refineries in the United Kingdom. Atmex have got plenty of silver in stock right now, as have lots of other dealers. Of course they have, because it's in the media. It's in the mainstream media. They want to cash in on these high premiums that they are now charging for customers. And then they will, hopefully, they think, get people stung when they come back after this little wobble in the market and go, I want to sell my silver back to you. And they will get spot price at best. And spot price will have gone down, so they'll have lost a lot of money. Now, where I want to finish this video with this next little segment is about the positives that have come from this movement. It is great to see silver on the headline news. It is fantastic, in fact, to see our little kind of industry, our little cottage industry, come forward. It's nice to be vindicated. It's nice for me to look to Mrs. Backyard Bullion and go, do you know what? 5 years ago, when I turned to you and said I want to buy some silver, I was right. It took a while for her to get round to the idea of it the first time I said it to her, but she has now seen the light and she's very much on this gravy train. So, you know, there's this whole host of good things that have come out from this. I am very confident that silver will go up over time, naturally, with its undervalued nature. I do genuinely still think that, and I don't want anybody watching this video to go away and think that I am just a negative Nancy when it comes to silver and investing silver and stacking. And a lot of people go, you're a stacker, you should be pumping silver, you should be, but that's not how I am. I am a realist. I am a wealth preserver. This silver that you see on the table and in my stack is part of a balanced portfolio of investments between stocks, shares, bricks, mortar, and commodities. That is the most sensible and natural thing for any investor to do. And that is why I invest in silver. That is why I'm down to earth and talk about it. I am not an end-of-the-world doomsday sayer. And I think if silver does go to $1,000 an ounce, there are going to be far more worse problems in the world than trying to cash out your silver at $1,000 an ounce. So, you know, there are so many different factors at play. But it is good to see that silver is now in the mainstream. And I do think that over time, this will only benefit people who have bought it. The only problem that I can foresee in the short term is people getting cold feet and seeing the market go down and thinking to themselves, well, do you know what, this squeeze, the squoze on silver is not going to happen, so I need to get out of my position in silver. And then they realise that the physical silver that they bought last week is not going to be delivered for 2 more weeks because the dealers are so busy they can't process the orders fast enough. And also, when they do finally try and sell it back, it's going to be at spot price and they're going to lose out from the premiums. That's just ill-informed. That is not doing the due diligence. At least my friend who, you know, wanted to get into silver recognised that buying physical silver, especially even in the UK, you know, at 45-50% markups from dealers with their VAT applied on top, is just a ridiculously stupid thing to do. If you buy your silver with those kind of premiums on top, you are having to wait until silver gets to $45-50 an ounce, which is just not going to happen. Don't listen to people who say it is going to happen anytime soon. Now, of course, I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, great. I'll be a millionaire and I'll love it. To quote Only Fools and Horses, this time next year, Rodders will be a millionaire. It's just not possible though right now with this market. It really isn't. Game-stopping, WallStreetBets aside, there's a lot of good things that are in silver's favour. You know, solar energy going forwards, new technologies. It is a very, very unique metal. It is very much an industrial metal, and it will raise in industrial demand over time, which will make it rarer in terms of the availability of it, and that will increase the price naturally as we go. That won't go parabolic though. There will not be a moment overnight where a bunch of people on an internet chat room squeeze the silver market. It's just not going to happen. And one thing I do see a lot of as well is people putting in comment sections of the last couple of videos I've done going, all it takes is 75 million people to buy 20 ounces each and the entire silver market is cornered. You know, you go literally, even with all this media attention out there right now, I bet you that if you go out and you survey, you know, 1,000 people, random people out there in the street, they will not know what the price of silver is. They will not. If you give them an option, will you have $1,000 or will you have $1,000 worth of silver? 100%, let's say 100%, let's say 90% of people will take the cash, if not more. 95% of people take the cash. Stacking silver is a very minor and minute part of the population. It is not a well-known thing. In the UK, it's even less than that. You know, US, at least you still have more of a culture of stacking. But over here in the United Kingdom and some other countries in Europe, we have a very, very low take-up of stackers and investors in physical markets of silver. And that's not going to change. The culture of silver and gold is very different. I also see and have seen quite a lot of comments in the last couple of days about this is the start of the return to the gold standard. That's something I've heard for the last 5 years of doing this type of commentary here on YouTube as well. That is not going to happen. I have done commentaries on the gold standard before. That is a very restrictive and outdated, archaic way of actually doing things in this world, and it will stifle economies, it will restrict economies, it will make trade very difficult throughout the whole world, and that is not what this new modern connected world is all about. So return to the gold standard, not going to happen. And for every single person and expert out there that says it's going to happen, there are 2, 3, 4 times as many experts on the other side, economists on the other side, that are not just people on YouTube like me spouting off whatever they want. They are actual academic economics professors that are doing published works to say a return to the gold standard will not be a good thing. So it is not, in my opinion, likely to happen. Oh, lots of rants there, lots of moans about this whole situation. I think the thing that really bugs me, though, is the group mentality, the mob mentality of jumping on bandwagons. And there are a lot of YouTube channels that I have seen that have done this, and I'm not going to criticize clickbaiting. To a certain extent, I clickbait on these types of videos as well, but it's just the opposite side of things. I like to think I kind of put a balanced approach in. But just by joining in this furore, I think has actually done more damage than good to our little kind of stacking industry right now. For established stackers that have been around for a long time, I think deep down that there is not really going to be a moonshot anytime soon, and when it does happen, it will be linked to a collapse of currency rather than somebody trying to corner a market. And that, I think, is the most important message to go forward from here. Silver is a wealth preservation tool. It is not something to get rich quick on. If you are coming over here from WallStreetBets and you are saying to yourself, this is the time to squeeze silver, trust me that it will not happen. It will not go to the moon. You are probably going to get burnt if you do not buy responsibly. If you have bought a bunch of silver in this last couple of days, just hold it. If you have got the ability and means to not have to sell it, use other funds to keep you up, then in the next 10 years, you will see silver do great things for you, and it will be an eye-opener. And it is wonderful to have you aboard the silver train. But don't come into this thinking that you're going to turn this around and make millions. It is just not going to happen. So there we go. That is my thoughts on the subject. I have no idea what's going to happen in the rest of the week. I make these videos now. I've done 3 in a row in the mornings, 3 days in a row. Things have changed. It's a pretty crazy time right now, and things could be completely different tomorrow. Could be completely different by the time this video goes live this afternoon. I just don't know. So we're going to have to see how it goes. If you've enjoyed this commentary, though, if you've enjoyed this kind of down-to-earth approach, let me know, because I have had hundreds of comments on these videos saying that it is quite refreshing to see somebody not pumping and not jumping on bandwagons and just having a little bit more of a down-to-earth look and feel to it. So let me know how you feel about this kind of video. It's really interesting for my feedback, and if you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button, hit the alarm bell. Oh, also big news, we hit 30,000 subscribers over this last couple of days as well. So a big thank you to everybody who has been subscribing to the channel in the last couple of days. Welcome aboard. This is the kind of content that we like to do. We like to challenge the way the world works. We like to challenge the way that the perceived world works. That's what we do here on this channel, as well as making nice things out of silver. If you've been looking and watching for this whole video, a lot of these bars, well, these 4 products here, I pour my own silver. That is what I do. So there'll be plenty of other cool content coming up over the next couple of days and weeks. But that is it from me today. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, tell YouTube that you have by putting the like button to blue. Otherwise, have a happy, healthy, safe week. Just try to relax and ride the train. If you've already got silver, you've done the right thing already. If you're going to try and jump on this silver train for an interesting ride, be prepared to stay on it for a long time. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next video. Thank you one and all for watching. Have a great week ahead, and we'll see you on the next one. As always, like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.